Mike here. Welcome to the Way Ministry. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about the month of June. Many of us, we see, including myself, I see June as the beginning of summer, as, cookouts, camping, spending time with the family, campfires, roasting marshmallows and things, swimming, just having a good time. Others see it as a month for an agenda, and they call it Pride Month. And this is a time for fundraising for GLSEN, the LGBTQIA+. I'm just wondering how many more of the alphabet they can put in there. PFLAG. This group here is I wasn't familiar with, and it's been around for a little while. Anyone that isn't familiar with none of these groups, I encourage you to go online. You can search the name, and it'll bring up and tell you what their agenda is. There's 30 days in June, 720 hours, 43,200 minutes, and 2,592,000 seconds. And I guarantee you that they'll use every second that they have to push their agenda for fundraising and all this. These groups are going after our children. We are seeing that. We're seeing that so much more. It was one thing for them to have this group and, these organizations and being their adult life and having this lifestyle and things. But, they ever since 2012, whenever gay marriage was legalized, they've had an agenda, and we've got onto this slippery slope, and we knew that's where it was going to go, and they just keep pushing and pushing. And, you've got Story Hour with the transgenders that are, reading to our children, grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, and in schools, in public schools and in libraries. And many of these schools and libraries won't tell you about it. They'll just have it. Public libraries will advertise it, and then you find out that, that parents are actually bringing their children there. Then you have public schools. I've read articles and things and heard testimonies about some people that the parents wasn't even notified. Some of these are in other countries. Like over in the United Kingdom, where it's actually a requirement that the kids participate in pride parades at school and things that the parents have no kind of control over. So really the question is, why are these companies and these agendas, why are they pushing so hard to go after our children? And I'll tell you that, our kids are so impressionable, their minds, they don't know at such a young age, they don't know right from wrong. We've got to tell them. And if they get it embedded in their mind that this sinful lifestyle is okay, then they're going to grow up with that thinking, and once they're an older age, they've got their mind set, and that's the way that they'll see it, as everything being okay. And quite honestly, the fact is, it's not okay. It's an abomination. That's what the Bible tells us. That's what God sees as an abomination, and it's not a lifestyle. It's not a, God didn't make me this way, because that's a lie. God did not make someone to be sin. It's just a sinful, it's a sinful way of living. In fact, the Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." The intentions of this organization of Pride Month are trying to change our generation because, right now, we as adults, this generation here, it's hard. You're going to have a battle because many of us are, like I say, are set in our ways. You've heard that before, that, once a person is set in their ways, there's, less likely to have change. You can't teach old dogs new tricks, that sort of thing. But as if you go after our little ones, our children, where you can change their minds and get this mindset for them, then you've changed the generation. And then as they grow, they teach their kids the same thing. And then all of a sudden it's all good. And it's just Isaiah 5:20 tells us, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. And that's the way a lot of this world is seeing things now. You bring things up about the Bible, bring things up about God, what is right, and they see it, they call that evil. They say that's wrong. And yet you see all this pornography and everything, if you will, as good. And so I want to begin and give you a list of current ones that we know about, as far as retailers and even products and things that have jumped on to the bandwagon of this, supporting this Pride Month. And but first of all, in Fox News, now I'll bring this up for you. Pride Month, local governments host drag queen story hour events across the country. 5-year-olds invited to bingo, karaoke, and story time with drag queen. Shirley Delta Blow at Denver Public Library. 5-year-olds don't even know how to play bingo. But they always want to bring our children, they want to draw our children into this. It's an abomination. It is evil. It is satanic. Satan is in amongst all of this. And if there's a parent out there that has any moral standing at all, will see this. And if you think this is okay, and you're a parent to a child, you're part of the problem. Another one here from Fox News. DC Library plans Children Pride Parade for all kids from 0 to 18. We want this to be an event for every family. A flyer for the event read that it was especially for kids, many of whom are coming out at younger ages. As I said, if you can take the child and corrupt his mind as he grows older, that he'll see that as good. Here's another one. Pennsylvania's largest pride flag comes to Philly ahead of weekend's march and festival. The flag is 200 feet long, about the length of some city blocks or 2/3 of a football field. And then this one here you go. Glamour magazine puts pregnant transgender man on June cover for Pride Month. Can I say fat? Because I guarantee you he's not pregnant. Because if he's went through the changes, the medical procedures and everything, man or woman, you cannot reprocreate. Plain and simple, you cannot reprocreate. This is a lie. All of this is evil. You can have all the surgeries you want. You can look like a woman, a man, but if they do a DNA test on you it comes back as who God created you to be. If you were born a male, then your DNA is going to tell them that you are a male. And if you were a female when you were born, that's the way it will come back as the DNA that you were a female. This kind of stuff just disgusts me. And it should you as well. Here's some of the retailers. Now we know about Target. New York Post. Target loses $9 billion in a week following boycott calls over LGBTQ friendly kids clothing. That was in May 25th of 23. I don't know what the figure is now, but I'm sure it's more. And quite honestly, this ain't being hateful. We don't need this. Hopefully they go broke. Because ever since 2012, and this was in Elkhart, Indiana, ever since they allowed men into their women's bathrooms, I never set foot into another Target. Here's a new one that I wasn't aware of. Kohl's, we all know who Kohl's is. Their department store is selling transgender themed clothing for 3-month-old babies. We got to see something wrong with this. 3-month-old babies. And then, of course, we have, Bud Light. Cincinnati Pride Parade as sales plummet with boycott. They've yet to learn their lesson. Now, here's a new one. And I experienced this on Friday. It was Friday, I believe it was, when I went into PetSmart. And into my local PetSmart in Elkhart, Indiana, on County Road 6. I saw, I knew they had some Pride things back in May. And they had it, and they did it. They did a little stunt like Target did. They had the stuff up front. As soon as you come to the door, it was in your face. Now they moved it all the way to the back. But here's the article here. PetSmart becomes the largest company to be slammed by the LGBTQ Pride merchandise for dogs and cats that include bikini and tutus. Hey, we've got our animals involved in it now too. If you want something for your dog, hey, here you go. Here's the photo I took at the back of the store in at PetSmart. And I was going in to get cat treats, and and they do have a good quality of these treats. They're all natural. It was a freeze dried, and I saw this in the back, and I walked back there, and I took a look at the merchandise, and I'm just shaking my head, and then the sign there, the Glisten sign, caught my eye. And it says right here, PetSmart is proud to support Glisten with a $200,000 donation in 2023 to help ensure every student is valued and respected regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. I contacted my wife because we got one of our cats has seizures. And we're trying to get away from all this byproduct meal and everything, and trying to make everything as natural for it as possible, and that would help our cat. And I called her up, and I sent her these photos through Messenger, and I said, in good conscience, I cannot do this. I said, we're not going to give them another penny of our money. I'm done with PetSmart. I'll go somewhere else until I find that they've got. If I have to, I'll start just buying meat and frying it up and giving it to them, doing whatever. But I'm not doing this. I am not going to stand before God at a point of after I pass away, and He asks me, why did I what was my account? Why did I give money to things like this? Because I'm telling you, if you're giving money to these places, and you know that they're taking your hard-earned money and they're donating this kind of stuff, the money to these people, we're guilty. We're guilty of it. We're guilty of helping. You might want to deny it, say, well, they got good food, or they've got this or something, whatever. They got a good clothing selection, but then you're sacrificing family morals and your beliefs for material things. And I am not going to do that. Now here's the one that was really, it saddens me, and it was difficult. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, you heard me right. Chick-fil-A, from Fox News, Chick-fil-A Incorporated, commitment to being better at together means embedding diversity, equity, and inclusion in everything we do. And of course, they got the headline up above, says, when we're better at together, we're better together. And I went to their website, and then I went over to their Facebook page, and it actually, they have I didn't realize they had a little bit of a clothing line. And now they use these, like the shoes and, this bag or whatever it is that this guy's got there, they call them different kind of sauces. And I thought, well, okay, maybe, they're going with the rainbow, as far as what the Lord speaks of, our rainbow actually represents. It's a promise from God. And but then I found the statement that they were making about diversity and all, and I thought, no, they sold out as well. And and then the next one, Ford Motor Company. The photo here says, is the Ford Very Gay Raptor truck real? Yes, it is. I went online, did some searching, and now they put a disclaimer on this. They claim that this advertisement came out in 2021, but they never actually sold one vehicle, or attempted to try to sell a vehicle. They were saying it's some response or something to a vehicle that they were selling that year, and it was blue, and somebody made a response to it and said, well, that's a very gay blue, and they did this, and then they, as a joke, they were saying as a response to that. I don't buy that, because what I thought was funny about this, that why does this surface today now? Why does this come? I never knew nothing about this in 21 or anything, but now it's showing up here today. I think they're just trying to feed into the community, the LGBTQ, trying to just kind of like, hey, look, we believe in you. We're trying to support you and so forth, but regardless, then you've got right here, Milk-Bone dog biscuits, pride-themed dog treats. It's never ending. Another one, Oreo cookies. Here you see on the headline news, Pride Month 2023 is shaping up to be the most contentious one ever as the corporate world aims to silence Christians and conservatives. And then there was a tweet here, Oreo cookie, we're kicking off Pride Month early with a shout out to our longtime partner at PFLAG, whose work continues to support LGBTQ plus people and those who love them. We appreciate you. This is what drew my interest when I saw the at PFLAG. I was not aware who they were or anything, so I did a search and started looking. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to go through because they got a bunch of things in their website as well as GLSEN. You need to go there yourself and check those out, and you'll know what these organizations represent. GLSEN, the one that bothered me the most was I read an article about that one, and it was actually it wasn't from them. It was someone that was exposing them, and they're trying to push to get to where all this stuff, all this transgender thing and everything, it to go through schools and be able to be pushed through and be pushed onto our children without parental consent. I'm telling you, and I don't remember who it was that said this long ago, but when you put your children in public school, where laws are so much now, you have no control. You're no longer their parent. The schools are. They say what is good for them. They say what they should see or what they should learn. And basically what's happening is when they come home, you have to deprogram them of all that. You have to get involved in your children's lives, find out what they're being taught and what they're learning each day, and then sit down with them and explain to them that, hey, that's a bunch of hogwash and you don't want to be any part of that. And you need to get involved with school board meetings, go to school board meetings, PTA meetings, whatever the case may be, and tell them that you've had enough of this. And if it means that you have to pull your child out of that school and put them in a private school, or if you've got the funds or capable of to be able to teach them yourself, homeschool them. That's the best thing. And just go, because I'll tell you what, with all this that was going on, if my son was still in school, in elementary school and that growing up, that's definitely what I would do. Because we're blessed in a way where my wife doesn't work. She would be able to teach them. And because I'm telling you, they're deprogramming our children of everything that is right in the Bible and all. And if you're teaching them Christian values, when they go to school, they're getting deprogrammed of all that, and they're being told that this sinful lifestyle is normal. It's natural. It's God loves them, and we all know God hates sin. And this is sin. He hates the sin. He loves the people. But at the same time, he is not going to sit around and allow this to continue. And I could all get into that, but that's for another time, because the book of Revelation talks of it, that his judgment is coming. All right, then the next one, from the New York Post, Lego becomes the latest company facing boycotts over its transgender building set. Now, this is June 1 of 2023, and this is another one that's using the same excuse that, well, this came out, and I believe they said it was in 21, and it never went on the market. They say they never sold it. Why is this surfacing now then? And why would you create something, spend the money to create it, and then not sell it? I don't buy it. Here's a photo of it, of the little characters and everything, and then the flag with all the multiple colors on it. And then, of course, in the entertainment world, last but not least, you've got Disney. Disney promotes first ever Pride Night on Twitter after DeSantis warning. And then it's got here, now this was in April 18 of 23. Disneyland announced the first ever Pride Night as at its California theme park on Monday. Me and the wife, I don't like to have anything to do with Disney anymore. They're getting more and more, woke. It's just, give you an example. Buzz Lightyear, the movie. You can go on YouTube. If you've never seen it, you can go on YouTube and catch a preview of it, and they have a gay scene in it. And right in there, it's got two women kissing. It flopped in the box office. Matter of fact, the money that they spent on producing it, it took it to go worldwide to basically just get their money back for this. I believe people are disgruntled, and it isn't just what the news ads and things says that that it's conservatives and Christians. I think it's other people as well. But hey, these people like to put a name on things and turn around and say it's this group, whatever. And at the same time, they tell us that we hate them. Christians hate them. Conservatives hate them. And that's the furthest from the truth. That's a lie, because God tells us, as a Christian, tells us that we are to love our neighbor. And I do love them. I care for them. This is why that I share, the gospel with people. We are to love people, but we are not to condone their sin, and we are not, to give encouragement for that sinful lifestyle. Their view, the way they look at it, they see a Christian, and if you don't agree with their lifestyle, then they say that's hate. It's as if they can't separate the two. You can't hate their lifestyle and love them, because they see it as one. That's why many of them will say, well, God made me this way. It's almost like it's an internal thing and not a sinful thing. It was the way I was made. No, that isn't the way you was made. We all have a choice. We have a choice to be good people or bad people. We can be loving or we can be hateful. We can be kind to someone or we can go out and murder someone. It's a choice, is what it is. It's a choice. And that's what sin is. There's good and evil. We either follow Christ, follow God to what He commands us to do. We have the 10 Commandments, and many of our laws are based on those. Thou shalt not kill. We get thrown in prison and possibly executed, for killing someone. And there's many things there that the erosion of the 10 Commandments, because this world where it's leading to, eventually it would not surprise me that under certain circumstances you'd be allowed to kill someone. And I'm not talking self-defense either. I mean, now that might be way off the deep end that some of you might think, but the way this world is headed, the way our attitude toward good and evil, what is right and what is wrong, it does not surprise me at all that everything is going to be out the window and that you can do whatever you want. Rape will be legal. Murder would be legal. Pedophiles could do what they want. This could go in such a direction, and we got to remember that Satan is the prince of the air. He is ruling over this earth. Now, don't misunderstand me. God is still in control. But God is biding his time. He's seeing where we're going with all of this. And he already knows. And he's just waiting. And all this stuff that's going on is going to get worse. And unless we put our foot down as parents and say, look, we are done with this, I encourage you to go to your public school, because this is the most concerning thing, is the schools are doing this. You pay tax dollars. I pay tax dollars. And I'm paying tax dollars for this? For you to bring a person in that's not even an educator. They're being perverted and showing perversion to our children. Reading in this story time, it isn't, they're not reading books to our children of Hansel and Gretel, or Daffy and Goofy or whatever. They're reading them books to educate them about their lifestyle. And I encourage you to go to my Facebook page, and this will be on my Facebook page, but there's videos on there, and there's one of them, there's a pastor on there, and God bless him. We all need to do this. He went to a board meeting, and because his little 10-year-old daughter came home with a book, and he went through it, and he ended up at that board meeting, and he started reading out of that book to the board members. And I'm not going to say here, but it was very explicit. I mean, and it was something that you would not. Well, a 10-year-old should. I mean, it was X-rated. It was pornographic, and the words that was being used, and the board members actually stopped him. Said, Pastor, what? Stop, wait. And he jumps in and says, what, was it something that I said? And he scolded them and said, hey, if you can't sit here and listen to this, then what makes you think a 10-year-old should be able to read this and get an education from this? Satan has taken over. He is trying to take over our children, and he will do just that if you allow it. We as parents, we as pastors, as churches, as Christians need to stand up and fight this. Have a voice. Go to your congressman, your local and your local and federal representatives, your school boards. And as I said, go there and tell them that you've had enough of this, and tell them you don't want your children going through this and having to see these kind of things. And if you have to go as far as saying, hey, look, if you bring my child into this, I'll file a suit against you. Do it. That's what I would do. I would file a suit against the schools, the public schools that are doing this, that if they're not allowing the parents to be aware of this, or if they're not sending a paper home that for consent. But if we sit back and do absolutely nothing and just let ourselves go and say, well, it'll all pan out or whatever, then you're just as guilty. You can't complain about none of this. We have to stand up for our children, because if we don't, nobody else will. The government will teach them. and it won't be the way that they should be taught. So that's all I have to say for now, and I pray this was informative to everyone and it helpful. I'll have this posted on my Facebook page, on YouTube as well. If on YouTube it's The Way Ministry, John 146, and you can find it there. And I just encourage you to get involved with your children and get this abomination stopped. Thank you, and God bless.